Anyone who has completed a marathon will know just how much grunt, how much mongrel that takes. My next guest has done 50 of them. In fact, he's just back overnight from winning his 5th New York City Marathon this past weekend. Congrats on the New York win. Was that actually really your hardest marathon?
Hardest conditions. The temperature was so low. I raced in a singlet top. I always hate racing in sleeves. And the outside temperature was supposedly 5 degrees, but with wind chill, it was between 0 and 2. And the gusts of wind were up to 40 mile an hour. So that is almost 60 kilometres an hour. It was lifting up front wheels of my competitors' wheelchairs, lifting and landing them a foot to their left or right.
Oh,
you had to be such a high level of concentration to making sure first you didn't crash, and then trying to pull yourself out of the discomfort that you're feeling so you can actually race and do what it is that you do. So
you won't let yourself lose though, will you?
Well, it's been 5 years between wins. So I've raced New York every year since 2005, and the last time I won was in 2009. Okay. And I'd been second and third every year between then and now, and it's just nice to get back on the podium.
Show us you've brought in, and you said don't put your teeth in it because apparently it leaves teeth marks.
It is.
This is the beautiful gold medal that Kurt has won, showing the camera there that we're filming with. Congratulations. You did wear your singlet, but you also, I'm wondering if you did wear your lucky undies.
I did. I did.
Let's head back to the crucible of Kokoda, this little town that you grew up in New South Wales, a little town, a big family, and I want to meet some of the characters along the way who really did define you. Dicko. Who was Maureen Dixon, I think? Yeah,
Mrs. Dixon, she was my high school teacher, and teachers have been some of the most empowering people in my life. Dicko's still teaching at Blaney High. She's the person, she thought out of the box. And the reason why I did study to become a secondary teacher is because that she made 5 minutes out of her day to call and arrange wheelchairs to come out to school and to show me what sport is. And I think sport can level people. It's a box where you can showcase resilience and strength and flexibility. I love what it can do.
Although you say it was sport that laid bare my insecurities, but it was eventually my salvation. What did it lay bare for you early on?
I grew up crawling after my family, and I think that when it came time to go to high school, to more people, I think I noticed then that there was this difference as well that I couldn't keep up, that I was extremely different, and I could hold down a conversation with the best of them. And you're the youngest of 5 kids, you've got to fight for your food, you know. So, but in sport, able-bodied sport, it really just highlighted that I am 100% different to the people around me. And then it also came through a salvation that it showed me when those same people were put in a wheelchair that I am the same man, that I have the same strengths and they have the same weaknesses.
This PE teacher of yours took the entire class at high school to a wheelchair basketball class. I just thought that was...
She took almost the entire school. She got class
with
after
you in
class.
mind. With you in mind.
The only reason that phone call happened was because she knew that I needed more, that there was something inside of me that needed an answer. And she put my peers and my friends and my brother and sisters in the chairs. Even before that, my principal stood up and fought for me to go to mainstream public school, and he fought for me when I couldn't fight for myself. There were only 2 people in my school at the time as well, but I did finish as captain and dux of Kokoda Public, and I think that idea of being through mainstream education for me was a real normalising thing as well, to know that I have the same requirements, I have the same expectations as every kid in our country.
You've also watched the growth and the peaks and troughs of the Paralympic movement. China was an interest. You really actually watched them shift, didn't you? Because there you were crawling the Great Wall of China.
That day I spent, it would have been a good 7 or 8 hours just climbing up the wall. And the first half an hour was just trying to convince what was then the Chinese army who were guarding the wall to let me start to crawl and to know that this was a choice and this was who I was and that this wasn't a negative or an embarrassing thing. This is living. And you don't live to watch life. You live to jump in it, to sink your teeth in, to climb a mountain, to race marathon. And then to see, I can't remember the athlete's name, it's lost me, abseiling up on the opening ceremony in 2008 to light the cauldron to the Paralympic Games, and seeing this front page of the news all across China, or all across the world, this amazing show of independence and disability and strength and disability. To see China change and take so many steps forward, it was incredible.
So, as part of all this, you've used your profile to become a very effective advocate. You're involved with Australian Volunteers International.
I've been grateful to go through my experience with Australian Volunteers International, and was able to spend some time in Syria before the conflict, in refugee camps, and see exactly the life that is lived there.
Those images stay seared into your consciousness, don't they? Why?
Well, the generosity and the love and the respect that I was shown while I was in Syria, while I was in those refugee camps, was incredible. It was just, there was such a beautiful, friendly, kind, accepting people. And I was in Yarmouk refugee camp, and then, the first stories of the terrible, last 4 or 5 years of civil war over there, Yarmouk was one of the first places where tanks rolled through.
But it's kids with disability that really hit you, didn't it? The kind of parallel realities, your reality, their reality.
I had a close experience from growing up with disability, but in a positive experience. And kids in countries, in settings that don't have that with disability, if education is given to one kid in the family, that will never be given to the kid with a disability. They're at the bottom of so many lists.
Where they are in Australia too, though.
Well, we are the worst in the OECD with education, with getting people with disability out of poverty, with employment. Our history with disability isn't something that we should celebrate. It's something that we should be ashamed of, and we shouldn't be slapping ourselves on the back with the introduction of the NDIS.
Which you've advocated for and been involved in.
We should be saying, why didn't we do this 30 years ago?
And it's not a magic bullet. You don't see it as a magic bullet.
No, I don't. No, I love the NDIS. I love what it can do. It can provide and enable people to live a normal life. We need employers to stop looking at disability and seeing fragility, seeing something that will be a burden on them. I have an interview, I did one recently with my wife, and the first conversation was to my wife. What is it like to be the carer of a person with a disability?
Oh,
and that's the assumed, I guess, reliance that disability has. And there is this stigma in our country that is obviously a barrier to employment, because that's one of the biggest things, that we're at the bottom of the food table of this. And people with disabilities, we're not bludgers. You can be highly educated in this country, have a disability, and employers just will not employ you. So if you can rectify that, then yes, we will get people with disabilities off pensions, but show us where they can go.
Thank you so much for joining us on Life Matters today. No. And congratulations again on the win. May there be many more to come. I don't think you'll ever really let yourself lose, not inside there. And good luck with being fathered Harry.
I love what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I can.
Thanks very much, Kurt Fearnley, for joining us on Life Matters.
Not a problem.